What do you call a pampered cow? Spoiled milk. What's going on, YouTube? Today we are going to be ranking all of the chapters in the Elder Scrolls Online. It is a bit difficult to do as each chapter adds something very unique to the game, so I'm going to try to be doing it from a perspective of if you needed to use this chapter, how much benefit would you get from it? Thank you for saying you never walk alone, by the way, whatever that was. So, if you're going to get a lot of benefit from a specific chapter, it's going to be ranked highly. And we're also going to consider things too, like how fun the story is, because obviously, there's players that play for the story. That's pretty enjoyable. We'll also be highlighting the key feature that was added in that chapter to discuss whether or not that's still good, whether it's, companions, tales of tribute, there's so many different factors and things that were added in all these chapters. We need to break down which ones are good. That way we can rank them. And we're going to be going from worst to best. So let's jump into it. And for those of you who might be new to the Elder Scrolls Online, here is a list of every single chapter that was added. Morrowind, Somerset, Elsewhere, Greymoor, Blackwood, High Isle, Necrom, Gold Road. That's going to be what our key list is for today. Let's jump into our number 8. Which is going to be Elsewhere. Now, this is obviously a very hard list to rank, but we have to talk about what Elsewhere added. And it did add the Necromancer class. However, the Necromancer class, compared to the other classes, in my opinion, has been routinely shafted. I don't think that it's very good at a lot of types of content, and I think that it generally ranks very low from both a PvE and a PvP perspective. If you're walking around in the overworld, how many Necromancers do you see? Not very many. So from that aspect, I rank it very lowly. But let's talk about what was added. And they added the new zone to explore, Northern Elsewhere. It added the Season of the Dragon. It added Sunspire, new world events, dragon attacks, which is very profitable. I highly recommend people farm dragons for money. It also added delves and new collectibles and style. So I think from a general perspective, Elsewhere is a pretty good chapter. But if you were telling me, hey, Jake, which chapter should I go spend a lot of time in? Hey, Jake, what chapter do I think adds a lot of new, unique things? Elsewhere is going to rank very lowly. And conceptually, with all the things and the content that are added in the other chapters, does have to go at number 8. Next up, we have another hot take for number 7 because it's Blackwood. Now, obviously, there's some other very closely rated chapters that we're going to talk about next, but to me, the next one has to be Blackwood. And I'll explain my reasoning more when we talk about what number 6 is, but what did Blackwood add? So Blackwood added a new zone, Blackwood, which actually does have really good sets for you to be able to farm. Also has really good treasure maps that you can actually go out, complete, and get some really good things like companion gear, added companions as well. It also has some unique motif styles that you get from treasure chests, which is also great. Added the Rock Grove trial, which I love. The Oblivion portal system, which is And it added 4 new mythics, which were okay. So for me, Blackwood is good. I don't think it's a bad chapter by any means. And I actually think it's so closely related to number 6. So let's talk about number 6. And it's High Isle. Not to anybody's surprise, but I think a lot of people put High Isle below Blackwood. So let me just explain my reasoning. That way there's no riots in the comment section. And let's start first by saying that you also get 2 companions by having High Isle. It does not require you to have Blackwood. So already the key marquee feature for Blackwood, you also get for High Isle. You do also, in theory, get Tales of Tribute. I know Tales of Tribute is a pretty hot button topic. A lot of people each day don't participate in Tales of Tribute matches, which is obviously why High Isle is still ranked so low, in my opinion. But what's nice, though, is that you're getting companions and you're getting a free new game feature, which is obviously enjoyable to some. But what really set them apart is I compared the mythics that were added between High Isle and Blackwood. And so Blackwood, Gaze Sithis, Harpooner's Wading Kilt, Death Dealer's Feet, those are, pretty good, but it just does not compare to the utility and the popularity of the Oaken Soul Ring and the Sea Serpent's Necklace and even Mora's Whisper. I mean, those mythics that are added in High Isle just completely outclass those of Blackwood, which is why I have to put it higher on the list. I know, again, there'll be some comments about this, but please just be gentle with me in the comments below. Let's quickly touch upon everything that was added in High Isle. They claim it's got 30 hours of unique story content, which I believe. It's got a new card game system. It's got Dreadcell Reef, 2 new companions, Ember and Isabel, Volcanic World events, the new mythics that we talked about, collectibles, achievements, and antiquities. Overall, I think High Isle was good, but just did not hit the mark for what people were hoping for when they saw a new card game system. To me, Tales of Tribute's biggest drawback is just how long the matches go on for. I think that they really should never go longer than a Battleground match, because sometimes I think even Battleground matches just wait on for too long. Next up is actually Morrowind, or some people know it as Vardenfell. It is a bit interesting to kind of put it this low on the list. Most people would probably put this at 8 or 7, just because I think a lot of people forget what's added in this one. Let's break that down. So you got Vardenfell, the brand new zone, which is beautiful, one of the most popular cities to do your crafting writs in. Also, this zone is now free, so you don't have to pay for it anymore. So I think that's why a lot of people might put it as this is an easy zone. You don't have to really do anything. You don't have to pay for it. But let's obviously talk about it as a chapter. Added the Warden, which was incredible when it came out. First new class. Added the story where you help Vivek keep the world from collapsing. Added Battlegrounds, which was really the only new PvP game mode since the base game of ESO, if you discount them adding Valendrone. So that was obviously huge and still is huge. Adds the Halls of Fabrication. Added new tutorial and free player housing for new characters. You get the Morag Tong and Balmora. You have 6 new delves, 6 new group bosses, daily repeatable quests that could give you some good rewards, collectibles, new die style sets, and a tomb hunting collection task. Overall, Vardenfell was really their first foray into the chapter system that would kind of become synonymous with the Elder Scrolls Online updates. And I think that they did overall a great job with it. I think if we had a PvP game mode with a new class, with a new zone, every single chapter update, I think people would be absolutely elated. So people really do sleep on Vardenfell a little bit. I think, again, it's because it's free right now. But to me, it's a great chapter, and it really is the standard on what is a good chapter. And now, our number 4 spot. A lot of people actually in Discord pretty much agreed with this, and that's Necrom being number 4. Now, to me, Necrom was a good chapter addition that added quite a few new amazing things to the Elder Scrolls Online, and I want to break down what those are, but also I don't think it's as good as some of the ones that are above it, and we'll break down why that is on our next one, kind of saying what edged out Necrom from being number 3. But Necrom added both Apocrypha and the Telvanni Peninsula, and I am a sucker for any time you get to visit any Daedric realm, so that was incredible. Main story quest, the Shadow over Morrowind, was fantastic in my opinion. A new playable class, the Arcanist, 2 new companions. So again, you get these 2 new companions. You don't have to have any of the other previous chapters. Added new world events, Bastion Mimics, which I think are a bit finicky. 12-person trial, Sanity's Edge. A new deck, which does unfortunately require you to have High Isle to use that new deck, because you have to have that to have the ability to play Tales of Tribute. New collectibles, new furnishings, and new antiquities. Overall, I think Necrom was solid. I think that it definitely kind of set the standard for adding a new class and then making that class kind of feel at home in this new area. I think it added a lot of cool new utility things for us that like to play with different kind of classes. It felt very different. My biggest critique of classes like the Warden is, if you've ever played a Stam Warden, is it feels very samey. It feels very autopilot-esque. You don't really do anything unique or creative with a lot of the build setups. I feel like a lot of the rotations are very similar, especially for PvP. And I think the Arcanist is just an awesome class that does so many unique things. And for me, that's why Necrom edges out Vardenfell, in my opinion. I do think the Vardenfell definitely does some things better. But also, when you compare the Warden to the Arcanist, it just doesn't even come close these days. Now, I have gone back and forth on this one being 4th, 2nd, but it's going to fall at 3rd. And we are, of course, inside of Greymoor. This might be a bit of a hot take, but I put a lot of thought into this, and I thought to myself, if you only had Greymore, how much benefit would you have? Because Antiquities as a system is massive. It unlocks the whole Mythic system. But when you look at the Mythics that are only available just inside of the Greymore update, you kind of realize that there's not that many. So while it does allow you to get other chapters Mythics if you have both of these updates, you can only get a very limited amount that are really relevant in very niche content through just Greymore alone. And for me, that's what holds it back from being any higher. But it also adds the Antiquity system, which was a massive update to the Elder Scrolls Online, is absolutely fantastic. And it also integrates well with a lot of the other systems in the game. So to me, it still is well deserving of its third place spot, but it's not going to be any higher because of it. Now, what did you get if you wanted to get inside the Western Skyrim area? You obviously get your Return to Solitude. You also get access to Blackreach, a Dark Heart of Skyrim edition, the Antiquity system, which we've touched upon, 12-person trial, Kind's Aegis, Harrow Storms, New Delves, and they added quality of life updates. Overall, I think that Western Skyrim was a great addition to the game, but I think that sometimes it's a little bit overhyped in what it does, and you kind of have to remember that in a vacuum, it only is good if you have other chapters to go with it, and for me, that's why it does not outpace number 2, because originally, I had this bad boy at number 2. That does mean that number 2 goes to the Gold Road. Now, this is a bit of a hot take. A lot of people, I think, put the Gold Road a lot lower. We'll show on screen our Discord votings for a lot of where you guys had rated the Gold Road, and I put a lot of thought into it. As always, I was thinking, how do I rate the scribing system? Because to me, that's the marquee system of this update. And to me, I looked at it in a vacuum, and I thought to myself, this is going to be useful for so many players across the Elder Scrolls Online, and I think it's only going to be expanded as the years go on. What I really like about the scribing system conceptually is that whether you're playing a sorcerer, a dragon knight, a necromancer, a warden, a yada yada, hoobity hobbity, you can use the scribing system to do unique things with that character. So it's adding something new to every single character, a benefit to every single character, versus saying, oh, well, you can go make an Arcanist now. Oh, you can go and do this now. Now you can be a warden. I always like features that are across all characters, and to me, scribing gets a lot of bonus points for that. Now, another confusing aspect of this too is 2 new companions are being added, but they're not adding them until Q4. But my understanding is, if I'm understanding correctly, is that if you have the Gold Road, you get the 2 new companions for free. They're just not added until the Q4 update, which means Q4 is a companions PvP Battle Royale game mode confirmed. Please don't quote me on that. But what did the Gold Road add? Added this new beautiful zone to explore, added a main story quest line, which is very long, including a scribing storyline, which is very long. Added new world events, a new 12-person trial, which is actually really fun, really cool new mythics, new Tales of Tribute deck, collectibles, achievements, titles, antiquities, and all the other hoobity-hobbity stuff that you get anytime you have a new expansion. So to me, Gold Road sits firmly on the podium just for all of the things that conceptually it's added. The 2 new companions mean that it beats out things like Blackwood. It means that it beats out things like High Isle, because obviously Tales of Tribute does not stack up against scribing. And I think a lot of you guys might put this a little bit lower, but to me, I put it at number 2, and I'm excited to see how the scribing system continually gets used and modified. And let's not talk about the fact, too, that you can now farm Luminous Ink to get tons of money. So it's a brand new good gold method for new players who don't need any sort of high-level gear. They don't need any sort of crazy farming equipment. And it's a great gold method. So I always love when new players can come into the game on a new chapter and make buku bucks without having to worry about being 160 or having certain gear or anything like that. So to me, I put a lot of value in that, and that's why it's number 2. And that means number 1 is Somerset. Now, Somerset to me was the greatest chapter and expansion in the Elder Scrolls Online. It also had the greatest storyline campaign from any story that I've really ever played in any Elder Scrolls game ever. I highly suggest that you do the main story mission in Somerset. It will not only give you access to the Sigic Order, which is fantastic. Gives you a whole new skill line that you can add to any character, and you guys already know I put a lot of value on being able to do something across all characters versus having to make a brand new one. Not to say I don't respect new classes, but being able to add this brand new Sigic skill line to all your characters, I just love. Has a great storyline attached to it, the overall zone. Not only that, you get jewelry crafting as its marquee update. Jewelry crafting is incredible. It adds something, again, that all of your characters need. They need jewelry. You need to wear jewelry. It's a bit fruity, but you need 2 rings and a necklace on every single one of your characters. Being able to modify, upgrade those necklaces, rings, is just incredible. Changing the traits on them, it adds a whole new way to play the game when it comes to doing your jewelry crafting writs, new gold methods because of it. It also added stuff like the Cloud Rest trial, which is exceptionally popular. It added the Artaeum Zone, which is incredible for fishing. It's one of the best new player gold methods. It literally has everything that you could want. And not only that, they added the World Events Abyssal Geysers, which is also a fantastic gold method for newer players who just want to go kill geysers and get access to good consumables that they could sell. Overall, Somerset is the greatest chapter in the Elder Scrolls Online, and they'd be hard-pressed to beat it, in my opinion, because you've added so many things that are going to be going across every single character you own. Every character you have can benefit from being able to do daily jewelry crafting writs. Every character, and being able to wear jewelry and benefit from that jewelry piece. They can benefit from the Sigic Order skill line. They can benefit from the new easy gold methods across both zones, regardless of what level they are. You also can get rare fishing motifs from fishing inside of Somerset. So not only can you get the Praetorian motifs in Somerset, you get Sigic satchels at Artaeum. It's just an incredible area. It's an amazing chapter. They would really be hard-pressed to beat it, in my opinion. So for me, it's an easy number 1. A lot of you guys agreed with me in the Discord. I think this is the least controversial of my picks so far, so you guys will have to let me know in the comments below which of these picks so far has been my most controversial. So everyone, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Quick question of the day, because I always love doing these. Which of these is the most controversial take out of all of them? Is it Vardenfell being so high? Is it Somerset being number 1? Is High Isle not being the worst? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, we are doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment on any of the videos throughout the month. Second thing is just be subscribed /follow on Twitch /follow on Twitter. Doing all of those will give you 1 entry into the second drawing, and then look for a third hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to comment that hidden word, you will win. Thank you guys so much again for watching. You, as always, are fantastic, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.